host because I'm doing it.
If you want, go for it. I mean,
Survivor specialist Alexa and Phil are back. I am in the leader position. Phil is kneeling because he doesn't have a chair. And we are joined by Carl Boudreaux of Survivor David vs. Goliath, here to defend Nick's character. Carl, what's going on? Are you healthy? What's up? Team Nick.
Team Nick, baby. Yeah, no, I'm good, man. Just trying to hang in there with this whole coronavirus stuff, you know what I mean? But
yeah, it's kind of a downer.
Good. I keep my medicine with me, so I'm always
yeah, that Modelo, that'll knock your feet right down.
Podcast.
There you go.
Hi, Gina.
No, that was my daughter. She's home from college. Yeah.
Oh, she's home for a while.
Yeah, she's home for a while, so she's going.
Got a full house.
Extended summer vacation for Carl.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be here. Alexa's in the leader position. This is our episode 7 predictions and power rankings for Survivor Winners at War. Last week we had the crazy double boot that dropped this down to 12. A lot of us were assuming this was going to be the challenge to get back into the game this week, which doesn't look like it's going to happen. So instead of that, we're just going to vote somebody out, and then it looks like next week will probably be to get somebody back in. We got 3 tribes of 4. It's the first time that's ever happened. 3 tribes of 4 people, like after a swap. I know that there's been 4 tribes of 4. Nobody corrects me on that. But this is the first time that everybody is very even. All 3 tribes have had to vote somebody out. And going into this, I don't really know which tribe has an advantage. Carl, what are you feeling going into this? Which tribe are you feeling the best about? Who are you feeling the worst about? How do you like how this is shaped up so far?
I'm really feeling the best about the tribe that Nick and Wendell and Yule are on, because I don't see those 3 guys breaking apart. Even though Wendell kind of put his foot in his mouth at that last tribal, I don't know. I just don't see those guys splitting up. It wouldn't make sense for them to split up.
I don't think it would. And I mean, Nick ended up holding pretty firm. We lost Phil for a sec. There you are.
I didn't want to hear Carl's answer. I just wanted to ask the question.
Yeah, I just wanted to get out of here. No, I think Nick not making that flip last week really proved like how close that trio was, and they were close when they were on the DeKalb tribe starting off. But I think when Wendell made that offer to Parvati at tribal council, do you think Nick and Yule knew about that in advance? Because they were really cool about it, and like if I didn't know about that, I would have been pretty pissed.
Yeah, I think at some point Wendell had to tell him, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, I know Nick kind of plays on the edge a little bit. So if he wouldn't have known anything about it, he wouldn't have been too excited about that taking place that way. So I kind of feel like he probably knew something about it.
Yeah, I felt like based on the reactions, they had to have known. Even Yule just kind of laughing about it. I think they all knew it was a thing. I do think, though, that Wendell put himself, exposed himself there a lot to his alliance members, because, man, saying that you're willing to backstab anybody and then say that the offer is still on the table, even if you're Nick and Yule and you know that this is happening, part of you still getting a little paranoid about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you will get paranoid, but like I said, I think more or less it was probably to see exactly where Michele's head was. You know what I mean? Because like we said, Nick, Yule, and Wendell already knew that they were voting for Parvati no matter what. So I guess, in my opinion, it was just to kind of see where Michele laid in this whole situation. Yeah,
it makes sense. And then, so you're obviously wearing the Team Nick shirt. You had texted us a couple weeks ago and said that you thought that we didn't like you anymore. But we jokingly responded and said, well, when Nick's on this season, we'll bring you on. And now Nick's episode, or his screen time has started to ramp up a lot. Why do you think that maybe Nick took a back seat early, and how are you feeling about the position he's just in general right now?
I think that was the best approach for him to take, man. That's a lot of big characters out there, and I mean, you heard in the very beginning how Sandra was like, these are people that we can easily get rid of. They're no shields to anyone or whatever. So I think the approach that he took, staying in the backgrounds, was one of the best things for him. This early in the game, you kind of want to sort of just be that person that's not in the middle of everything, so you don't put no targets on your back. So that's kind of the approach he was taking. Now it's time to ramp it up a bit now, though.
Yeah, and we've seen that happen pretty quickly, actually, for him. And so when I look at where Nick is sitting, he was still kind of getting a little bit of heat when Tyson went home, although I think that might have just been all for show, just so that they could give the illusion that it wasn't just going to be Tyson. But Nick was called. They were saying that he does nothing around camp, Carl.
Can you confirm that?
Hey, I think I might have said that on my season. He was kind of lazy, you know what I mean? But, so yeah, it just basically puts out there what I said was true. You know what I mean? It has some meaning behind it.
Yeah,
Nick's cool guy, man. He's just not the get his hands dirty type of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it worked for him. We can't judge him for that.
No, you can't at all. I mean, some of us work. Some of us don't mind having dirt underneath our fingernails. You know what I'm saying? Where others, they just, they earn the positions they're in, you know?
So what you're saying, Carl, is the lazier you are, the better chance you have of becoming a millionaire? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, obviously it worked for him the first time. I mean, shit, he's being lazy this time and he's still in there. So let's see if it happens again. If I ever go back, I'm just gonna be lazy as hell.
you're gonna bring the hammock from David versus Goliath. You're just gonna set it up and lay there for 39 minutes.
Exactly.
Doesn't sound so bad.
Really earn the name Godfather then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's get into some of these power rankings, and then we can kind of talk about where we're feeling with the Edge of Extinction and things like that. Just because Edge isn't going to be this week where they bring anybody back, but it looks like it's going to be next week. So we can kind of talk about, even though it's a week in advance, Carl, we can still talk about who you think might be in the driver's seat to come back from that. But I guess before we get into the power rankings, what do you think about Tyson buying the peanut butter last week?
That's typical Tyson. I mean, it's smart though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the advantages on that island doesn't serve him no purpose. You know what I mean? So if he can get some food in his stomach, and they're running around the edge looking for this and that, and they're burning a lot of energy. Whereas if he can store more energy than they have when it comes time for that challenge or whatever it takes to get them back in the game, he's gonna have the edge on it. Yeah.
And Alexa, you weren't on the podcast last week because we had intern. But what did you think about that? Because I know you texted me right as it was happening. What was your take on that as well?
Well, at first glance, I was like, I don't really understand what he's doing. And then, I mean, you guys saw how big that jar is. Like, that is a ton of peanut butter. And how much did he buy that for? One token? Like,
One token.
That's totally the right move. But in the moment, I was like, what are you doing? Like, shouldn't you be saving up to, for an advantage in the re-entry challenge? But the thing is, like, to me, the two people who have by and away the best chances of coming back are him and Natalie.
Yes.
Are by and away the most athletic people on Edge of Extinction. So he probably knows that. So for him, it's probably like, you know what? I maybe don't need the advantage, but why don't I just get more sustenance? So good move.
Yeah. And I saw a lot of people saying that they were surprised he did it so early, but with how much peanut butter he got, this is exactly the right move, because now every day he's going to be getting such a great calorie intake compared to what everybody else who he's competing against is getting. He's going to get that for, I mean, if he bought that on day 15, let's say, he gets the peanut butter on day 15, and then to get back in the game is on day 18. He just got 3 straight days of eating however many calories. It's huge for him.
Yeah, right. In my opinion, Natalie needs to do something similar. I think she needs to buy something to put in her stomach to get her edge back up a little bit. Because she's proven to be smart as far as, all the clues that was needed to find the stuff on the edge. So we know she has that in her, but she's going to have that energy at the same time, because she's expending a lot of energy out there.
And I think she said she might be waiting for an idol or something like that. But I think Tyson had the best take on it. If he doesn't get back in the game, what good was having an idol? Especially with how today's game is, you get back in the game, there could be an idol sitting for you there anyway. We saw it happen for Devin. We saw it happen for Chris. It could happen for you. So just get back in, and you might just happen to have an idol waiting for you no matter what.
Right. So do you think they're fixing to bring somebody back in on the next episode or no?
Not this week. I think it'll be the week after. I think it'll be somebody's going to go home this week. I think the following episode will start with somebody coming back in.
So you're thinking they're going to go into merge with only 11 people?
Well, they're going to merge with 11 plus the person who returns from Edge.
So with 12 total.
With 12 total, yeah. Because right now it would be 13 total.
I'm okay with that. I like a tiny bit of a smaller merge, especially if the jury's going to be, 7?
Well, everybody, yeah.
Yeah, so. But I'm glad they're changing it up, because I bet the players probably assume that there's going to be a merge right now, and when there isn't, I think that'll throw them off a bit.
Yeah.
And especially too, I know that they've already decided this beforehand, but how great is it that it's 4-4-4, and that just makes it awesome that you can go into this next challenge and vote somebody off and make it 4-4-3, but going into this next challenge it's completely even, and I think that that's just a really great thing for Survivor. While it's as even as possible, hopefully they can take total advantage of it. So I think that this week there's going to be somebody's going to get voted off, and then next week's going to start off somebody coming right back in. So
that's kind of why I'm wondering why they won't merge now with it being 4-4-4. You know what I mean? You merge now, you got 4 from each tribe. So therefore it's in a sense is no advantage to one of the other tribes. Mm-hmm. And then you bring somebody in and make it 13.
Yeah. I guess too, what I'm surprised at is that they didn't hint. If there was going to be a merge this week, I feel like they would have told us. And they didn't tell us in the preview for in the next time on Survivor. It was just like Tony running down the beach. Okay.
But they haven't been telling us much of nothing in the previews.
Well, we did know that there was going to be a swap, though.
Well, yeah, that's about it. I mean, like, they haven't even given us, at least from what I've seen, like that night when they leave tribal and get back to the beach. Like, we haven't gotten much of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's usually when you can see who's really upset and who's not, who's okay with what, who went home or what have you. We haven't gotten any of that.
And I think that's due to a lot of players. I think are just playing it a lot closer to the chest this season. I think a lot of people, even though Michelle's going to be upset Parvati went home, Michele got exactly what she wanted out of this situation. So I think she's going to go back to camp and she's going to try to stay quiet about it, not get too angry about it. And when Tyson went home, Tyson just got blindsided. I mean, Tyson had to go, and so there was nobody else who had to do that. Really, the only time was when Ethan went home, and Adam had to come back and do his apology tour, but it looked like he just did it the next morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And go ahead, Alexa.
This is kind of going off topic, but you reminded me with Tyson going home, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about this, but what do you think about Sandra getting voted out and giving her tokens to Yul?
I'll let Carl take that.
that seemed a little out of left field for me.
I was confused on that one. Yeah, I was confused on that one. I mean, totally confused on that one, but who else would she have given? I would have expected her to give them to Kim, if anybody.
See, I thought Kim or Tony. I
still don't think Sandra's riding with Tony, no matter what.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was just,
that was just what that was, because I don't.
Yeah, but Kim, you make with Kim. When Sandra was talking to Denise, she was like, "Save Kim, like don't mess with Kim."
Mm-hmm.
So, but why would Denise listen to Sandra? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like,
but that to me makes me think like, okay, Sandra was tighter with Kim than we would have thought. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought Tony all made up, but I guess not.
I thought that she would have given him to Sarah, because when we saw that first tribe, it was her and Sarah who were always kind of by the well, and then Yul and Sophie came, and then Nick and Wendell came, and it was her and Sarah were hanging out, and they had played together on Game Changers. People kind of forget that. Sarah did vote out Sandra, but I think Sandra respected that a little bit because they were working a little bit together on this season. So I would have expected Sarah. I feel like the Yul thing might have just been whatever, Yul might be able to do the most with them. And I think Sandra's one of those people who, because she's the queen, she doesn't want to give it to one of the women because she doesn't want another woman to win a second time. Honestly, I think she'd rather a guy win twice so she can say she's the only woman to win twice.
Yeah, well, she wasn't giving it to Sarah. I mean, she respect that Sarah voted her out, but at the same time, we're talking about Sandra. Respect and forgiving is something totally different, and that just wasn't happening.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into these power rankings, because I just talked about Sarah, and that's my number one. I got her right at the top. She's got the advantage. Hers is steal a vote on a tribe with Adam and Ben. If they lose, she's not even going to need to use her advantage. Ben's just going to vote with Sarah and Sophie. So I got Sarah right at the top. I think she's in a perfect spot, and Sophie's my number two. So I think the two of them are in the best positions right now.
I have Sophie at my number one. Sophie's playing the best, quietest game ever right now. Like, she's not on anyone's radar. Like, period.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And she's playing great. She's got allies everywhere. She's got only Sarah knows about. Sophie is and Sophie knows about Kim's idol.
That's why I say I have Sophie as my number one. I mean,
and I think it's funny too. During her season at South Pacific, she was kind of seen as a robotic game bot, boring, whatever. And now, when you look at her on this season, she's having so much fun. Like, she's somebody who people are going to for entertainment. Yul and her are having a great time. she's having a great time with Sarah, Ben, and Adam. Like, Sophie has done a complete 180, and I think it just shows how well she can adapt to whoever she's just stuck with, which is really what makes a great Survivor player, is being able to adapt to whatever situation you're thrown into. I think we're seeing the real Sophie this time. I mean, especially we've had Albert on the podcast now twice, and Albert always says, like, yeah, you guys might think Sophie was boring, but Sophie's not like that. And other people who have met Sophie, they really like Sophie. We just didn't see any of that personality on South Pacific. We're finally getting it now. I put Sarah just a little bit higher because Sarah just was the first name that popped into my head. Sarah and Sophie, to me, are just completely interchangeable. Neither one of them is in trouble this week.
Well, you know you're having fun when you go in the ocean to take a bath and you're twirling your undies in the air.
Yeah.
So,
That's usually a good sign.
Fun,
Usually
right?
a good sign.
Oh my God.
So I'll go to my three. So I go Sarah 1, Sophie 2, Kim 3. Sarah, I'm giving a tiny edge just because Sarah knows about Sophie's idol, but I believe that Sophie does not know about Sarah's steal a vote. So Sarah's got a little more privacy, for lack of a better term, but I think the two of them are fine. I think Ben and Adam have to fight for each other or fight for themselves, and it looks like Ben's winning right now. It sounds like Adam's not that tight with those two. So
No.
I don't know. Adam's had a tough season so far. But with Kim, I think a really underrated thing that happened last week is that Kim did not play her idol. So there must have been some reason that Kim was really confident that she wouldn't go home. So to me, that says that there's some relationship there with Kim and Denise. I think out of the four of them, Jeremy is the one who looks like he betrayed Denise or did betray Denise. So that doesn't make Jeremy look great. Tony went on a total tear. So Tony doesn't look great. And Denise just made the biggest move in the past how many years of Survivor.
A long time.
Somehow Kim has become the least threatening person on that tribe, and she's safe with an idol. So I think Kim is looking real good right now.
What's crazy is I have Jeremy at my number 2. And the reason being is he started out, in the blocks from the very beginning, but he's built his way up. And look at how Denise just played an idol for him. Like, what would make her play that idol for him? You know what I'm saying? So he must be doing something right. On top of the fact that he still has his basically get out of tribal free card.
Yep.
Yeah, love that. He's my number 4 for that.
You know?
I think Jared, he can just ditch whenever he wants to. And it looked like he was
right
for a second last week.
Yeah, he was thinking about it.
Exactly. And he sat there when Jeff said it's time to vote, and he sat there, and he really thought about it. I think that the way this tribe is shaping up, I have this as my 3, 4, 5. I go Denise 3, Kim 4, Jeremy 5. I think that if this tribe goes to tribal, it's got to be Tony, because despite what Denise just did last week, which was probably the best move in Survivor in maybe the last 10 seasons, who knows? We'd have to really break it down. But one of the best moves we've seen in a very long time, especially for the grand scale of who she booted out and everything. I still don't think that anybody's going to look at her as a bigger threat than Tony. And if Jeremy really wants to keep Tony around as a shield, Denise and Kim aren't going to let that happen, because I think Denise and Kim have a little something going on here that's going to work better. Kim's got an idol. I think Kim would want to play with somebody like Denise, doesn't want to play with somebody like Tony. Think about who Kim played with in her first season. Every single person she played with was unbelievably predictable. She would just vote out anybody who was unpredictable and keep everybody who was predictable. Chelsea, Sabrina, Christina. I mean, Christina literally says, there's nothing I can do. I guess I'm going home. Who doesn't want to play with somebody like that? So she doesn't want to play with Tony. So I think that, first of all, I think that tribe is in very good shape, despite the fact, now they got rid of Sandra, who was sitting out last week anyway. I still think that tribe is in very good shape to at least finish first or second this week. I don't think they're going to lose. So that's why I feel confident in these 3. But even if they do lose, I don't see Tony being able to flip it, because I think everybody's going to have a really close eye on Tony. Kim and Jeremy both have advantages, and I think Tony would probably go after one of them before he would go after Denise, which would keep Denise in the game.
I don't see anyone wanting to play with Tony. Tony is too much of a wild card.
He was doing so well, and then why did he have to do that?
Until he went and did what he did this episode, that did it. That the typical Tony came back out. Like, if he would have kept that Tony away, then he was doing fine, because he was making, alliances, and he wasn't doing all the craziness. But when he did that this week, they all picked up on it. They knew right ahead. Well, where's Tony? It's like nobody.
Don't go by the water well.
Yeah, like nobody's not gonna want to play with that, because you can't trust it.
I got to say, though, because it was the Spy Shack in the first season, and then he tried to do the Spy Grave, and it didn't work, I'm very happy that we saw Spy Bunker. At least he was able to somehow,
He's done it all.
The evolution of Spy Shack has gone somewhere. And I'll tell you what, Carl, he was hidden. Nobody was seeing him.
Yeah.
If they didn't know he was already doing it because they've seen him do it before, nobody realized that Tony was hiding back then.
Right.
You know,
but that's why they did not go by the water well.
That's why they didn't go by the water well, because it's too predictable, because he's done it so many times. And Sandra caught him there the one night while he's crawling all prone. It's like, what are you doing? Crazy.
Well, my favorite thing is that no one went to the water well. So did he actually just sit there for like multiple hours staring at leaves?
No one told me. He probably did.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he said in Cagayan he had sat there for 4 or 5 hours at a time, just waiting for somebody to walk by. I mean, there's nothing else to do anyway. But then it looked like as soon as he popped out, they were actually coming.
That's just crazy. Like,
crazy
for you to disappear for 3 and 4 hours at a time and not expect no one to be suspicious of you. Come on, man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And at that point, just go look for an idol. At that point, like, why?
Yeah.
If you're going to disappear for 3-4 hours, why sit there? Just go look for an idol.
Exactly.
So
I got Yule at number 3.
You got Yule at number 3. Okay.
I got Yule at number 3. Yule isn't getting under no one's skin. He's just casually doing his multiplications the way he do them, and just moseying on along, you know. And on top of like with getting the fire tokens from Sandra, it's like, if Sandra doesn't see Yule as a problem, like, no one else is really looking at Yule as a problem. Everyone likes Yule because he's taking that approach.
Now, on that tribe, do you think that Yule could get into trouble if the newer winners decide to just team up? Like, let's say Nick and Wendell don't think Michele is enough of a threat to get rid of right before the merge. Would they go and work with Michele to vote out Yule? Or do you think that Nick would be more willing to work with Yule and Michele to vote out Wendell, or Wendell, Michele, and Yule to vote out Nick?
The only way Yule gets in trouble is if Nick changes. Nick will be the only one that I think that will be willing to get rid of Yule, because Nick, he's going into this season as taking out top dogs. If you haven't noticed, you know what I'm saying. So that's the only way. And of course, if after this week's episode, if Michele goes back to camp and gets in Nick's ear, because she was already in his ear before they even went to tribal.
Yeah.
So now with Wendell saying what he had to say at tribal, for Nick to be able to see that, you know what I mean, on top of the fact of what Michele and Parvati had already told him, it's the difference is, what move is Nick gonna make? Is he gonna side with Wendell, or is he gonna side with Yule? Because I can see Nick wanting to work with Michele.
I completely agree. My number 6 is Nick. He's the safest I have from that tribe. So
Nick's my number 5.
Yeah. So even though Alexa and I both have him lower, towards the middle here, I have him right in the middle. Alexa's got him right before the middle. Even though we have him down there, I feel like Nick's chances of going home this week are very, very low. I just think his tribe's chances of losing are very, very high. Because at the end of the day, out of everybody left in the game, Michele is the worst at challenges out of everybody left in the game. If you're looking at it from like a physical standpoint, she's good at puzzles, but not as good as Sophie. She's physical and can hold her own, but she's not as good as somebody like Wendell or even Sarah or Denise or Jeremy or Kim. So I'm not saying Michele is bad at challenges. I'm just saying she's probably the worst in the game. And if that's the case, that tribe just has one out of their 4 members who that could be all the difference in a challenge.
Yeah, but she got Nick, Wendell, and Yule to carry her, though. You know what I mean?
True. That's true.
And then she can put a Nick, Wendell, or a Yule on the puzzle.
Yeah.
So basically, she just stays out of the way. You know what I mean? They carry her through the physical part, and then one of them take over the puzzle part, and they're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have seen that happen. And we saw Wendell already kill that puzzle in the first episode where they were.
Yeah, Wendell's great in challenges.
And I'm just saying, I think that these 3 tribes are incredibly even, and that's why we've seen each of them lose a person. I'm just saying, if you have to look at it from any type of aspect, and, of course it kills me to say Michele's name and something negative, but that is probably the weakest challenge competitor left in the game. So I would just say, like, when it comes down to something that is so close, like when it's that close, I'll just take the one little thing that could possibly set them back. However, Michele sets them back. I don't think that necessarily means she goes home, because I think Nick saying he wanted to work with Parvati's too much of a threat. But Michele is the less threatening version of Parvati. So work with Michele then.
Right. True. What got me real quick was how Denise said that she wasn't the best at challenges when they were at Tribal. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, why would you even say that about yourself when you're sitting here with Sandra, who hasn't even done any of the things? You know what I mean? Like, from a team aspect, from when they were sitting at Tribal talking about, who was the weakest at their challenges. And I'm like, well, I definitely wouldn't have put Denise as one of the weakest, not as long as we're sticking with the same tribe with Sandra on here. But anyways, that was something that caught my attention. I was like, what? No,
I think because when I heard the two, I was like, I've always thought Denise was neutral to good at challenges. Like, I thought seen Denise like not do well at a challenge, except for when they had to jump, but that's because she's not that tall.
I mean, she was vertically challenged.
That's not her fault. That's not her fault.
Exactly.
Otherwise, she's a tank. But what I think is so amazing about Denise, and I think this is like why her blindside worked, is she has no ego. She is so humble. So when Sandra like says that every single person on that tribe is a threat except for Denise took that just handled it so elegantly.
And it's perfect.
Yeah.
Because honestly, on this season, I would love it if somebody said Phil's no threat at all. Perfect. Cool.
Right. Love to hear that. Yeah. You want that. That's the target that you do want, is for people to say that you're no threat. Like, it's okay to not be a threat. You don't want to be a threat. Yeah. Because then you could just fly under the radar. Nobody's paying you any attention.
And look at what Denise was just able to pull off. She just pulled off arguably the best move that any of these winners have ever made in any of their seasons. She just made one of the best moves out of any of them. And it was strictly because nobody believed she could actually do it. So you can't underestimate anybody, but I think that's where she wants to be. She wants to be underestimated. She knows she's good at challenges. She knows she can hold her own. She knows she can win challenges if she needs to. She knows that, she might not be as strong as Tyson, but she's, not weak. She's not bad at challenges, but she wants everybody to think she's bad at challenges. Sure, I'm no good. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about me, because they're all thinking a merge is next. And if you're thinking a merge is next, because that's what we've seen a lot is, 13, 12, not really so much what it looks like now, where it's going to be 11 and then +1. If you're thinking that a merge is next, tell everybody, I suck at challenges. Get rid of Sandra. Keep me. I want to stay here. And I think that's why Denise ultimately got rid of Sandra, was because Sandra plays a similar game to Denise post-merge, and Denise doesn't want that around. Like, Jeremy wants the people who play similar to him around post-merge. Denise doesn't, because that just means it's a smaller target. You don't want that. You want to keep the big targets.
Exactly. I got Sarah at 4 and Nick at 5.
Okay. I'm typing it in.
And for that reason, Sarah with her advantage. We know Sarah has, what's shocking is Sarah has created a bond with Ben. That's the shocking. I'm liking Ben's game this season, man. Like, Ben has turned his game around 360 degrees. Like, this is not the same Ben that won his season. Like, he had no alliances with no one. Whereas this season, he's getting along with everyone. You know what I mean? But yeah, Sarah's rocking. Sarah, I don't see her being in any trouble on this next episode. Nick as well. Nick's in a good place. He can go to either side. He can go to the Yule and Michele side, or he can go to the Yule and Wendell side. You know what I mean? So I don't see him being in a bad spot at all this week as far as being a threat to go home.
Yeah, I completely agree. And especially like what you were saying about Ben there. We'll get to Ben. Nobody's put Ben down here yet, but Ben was somebody we were putting at the bottom of the rankings every week, Alexa and I, for the beginning part of the season. And now he's in a great spot. I mean, maybe the Adam thing would be too obvious, but I almost think that's why that tribe's not going to lose this week, because it would be too obvious that Adam goes home. And they wouldn't have made it so obvious last week had Adam actually gone home this week. They wouldn't have been like, hey, by the way, Adam Klein is screwed when they lose. I think that they're keeping you a little in the dark a little bit more on who's been going home each week. And I think that they would have saved that type of scene for this week if that tribe was going to lose. Now, granted, that could be completely made up and just me reading too much into the edit. But either way, I still like where Ben has turned his game around from bumbling. I don't know what's going on. Boston Rob is making me nervous to I'm doing great. I got Sarah. I got Sophie. We're friends. I'm still friends with Adam. I think Ben's in a spot where he's going to make a really deep run here, to the chagrin of much of Survivor Reddit. He's around for the long haul, man.
He's playing a good social game.
Yep.
I love
Yeah,
it.
he is.
I'm liking
He
Ben.
is.
I think Ben's like, he's been really endearing this season.
Who would have ever thought?
Who would have
Ben
thought?
would have
He
played
helped
like
Denise
a
get.
social type game. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it weren't for Ben, last week wouldn't have happened. Just
At
saying.
all. At all.
It's true.
So
Yeah.
go
So
Ben.
Ben's the MVP of the season so far. But Carl, before we move on, since now we've all said Nick, and that's the last person I have written down for everybody. I got Nick at 6, Alexa and Carl both got him at 5. So what do you think about Nick's game, and what are you thinking about like the reception of Nick's game right now? And maybe give a little defense to Nick's game.
Well, I honestly think right now, so far from what I've seen, Nick is more or less playing the deer in headlights type of game in a sense, man. Like he's starstruck in a sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm just hoping that over the weeks that he kind of sort of put that aside, because in the very beginning he's literally been starstruck in my opinion. I mean, I just listened to his confessionals, hear some of the things he say, and I'm like, bro, like you're playing a game for $2 million. Like, to hell that you watched Tyson when you were a kid, or Parvati was your crush before you ever even got put on Survivor. Like, set that shit aside. You were on it. You played. Like, they're playing the same game as you. You know what I mean? So, but if he could set all that aside, then Nick is smart, man. One thing about Nick is smart. He'll play that little puppy dog as long as you need him to play that puppy dog. You know what I'm saying? And then when he has to bite, he's gonna bite, but he's gonna do it from behind you. Like, you're not gonna see it coming.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think he's almost playing it up, because I think on your season he realized what got him in trouble, which was being too aggressive, too wishy-washy, all of that. And I think he said to himself, well, I'm not going to get in trouble early this time. I'm going to play the all shucks game like nobody's ever played the all shucks game.
Right.
And then what's going to end up happening is, as we start voting these people off, if you think about it, everybody he's got to be all shucks about is gone. Boston Rob is gone. Parvati's gone. Sandra's gone. Tyson's gone. All the people that he could go, oh man, I'm so crazy. Like, I can't believe them. I can't believe I'm on the same island as them. They're all gone. And now he's got Sophie and Kim and Jeremy and Michele and Ben and Adam and Wendell. Who's worried about, I've met half of those people, and you don't feel like they won Survivor. You don't because it's just, they give off that normal down to earth vibe because they haven't been able to hit legend status, not because of their games, just because it hasn't been that long for them. And so I think Nick is kind of playing up this aw shucks thing a little bit, and it's worked for him because, again, like we saw with Denise, nobody's looking at Nick as a threat either.
No, I'm just glad he's not wearing his emotions on his sleeves this season like he did in our season. You know, like coming back from Tribal, he showed his frustration of when I got voted off or when Davey got voted off. You know what I mean? Of course, he in that position so far on this season, but I hope that he doesn't let that part of him show, because with these players, that's not gonna fly. You know what I mean? That ain't gonna fly at all.
And I think everybody's done a pretty good job of holding that in, except for maybe Boston Rob. But Boston Rob is gone, and that's just the way Boston Rob plays. He's going to be as loud and in your face, and I can't believe you would do this. Screw you, get away from me. But I feel like everybody else has kind of been, even when Ethan goes home, Parvati's very much like, oh, that's a shame. Dang, that sucks, you know. Whereas in Heroes Villains, it was, you know, not that she ever really got blindsided in Heroes Villains, but there would have been a lot more emotion to it. But anyway, who wants to go next with their number 6, Alexa or Carl?
Carly, go ahead.
My number 6, I'm gonna put Ben in number 6. Ben isn't going anywhere. Ben's game is really doing well, and even if they were to lose, Ben and Sarah have created a bond as far as on that tribe. So I don't see Ben being in any trouble right now on this next episode.
And I know military and cops aren't the same thing, but I think there's a lot of similar mentality a lot of times with those types of people, and I think that's why Sarah and Ben are getting along as well as they do.
I mean, they both get the same respect. You know what I mean? As being patriotic in a sense, and being service people. You know what I mean? Protecting, you know, whereas one protects the whole nation and the other protects her city or what have you. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty much in the same realm. So I can see why they're bonding so much.
Yeah, Yeah, and
Yeah.
I could almost see a Cops R Us plus Ben once the merge hits. If all three of them are still in the game, if Tony can survive this week, I
Or
think
you
that
can
would be
go
a
with all
great alliance.
heroes. I mean, because you can go
Yeah.
with Ben, Sarah, Jeremy, and Tony. I mean, they're all in the same, hero type. If this was heroes versus hustlers, you know what I mean? They would all be
Yeah.
together. You know what I'm saying? You got two
Yeah.
cops, a firefighter, and a military guy. So,
It's a
yeah, I
great point.
mean, yeah,
Tough group to beat.
right.
It's a great point. And that
Yeah.
could actually be an end game type alliance. I mean, that's something I could see making it very deep in this game is the four of them, because they all have a lot in common. There's enough threats and non-threats, and everybody can kind of use each other in whatever way they need to. And I think all four of them would think that they could beat each other at the end.
And that's the thing, man, out there, man, having something in common with someone, it goes a long ways, because you got, all these different people. So you find somebody that you literally have something in common with, and you can talk about that on a daily basis, and you create a bond. So that comes into play.
Alexa, who's your six?
Yeah. My number 6 is Wendell. I think they, first of all, can everyone stop being an asshole?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
I was trying to come up with a peak. Like, can everyone just quit it? Wendell and Nick. So that's like the first thing I want to say, because I met Wendell once and I was very tipsy and also very awkward, but he was amazing. So
yeah, but thank you for saying that, man. It's that needs to be
bullshit.
said. Like it's cool. It's great to have the fans, man. Like it's super awesome to have the fans, but the fans got to realize that we're people. You know what I mean? We're playing a game. Like
God,
all of that hatred and all of that stuff it's uncalled for, man. You're hating on a person that you don't even know. You watched him on a TV. Like grow up, man. Cut
and
it
just
out.
some of the things are just a little too far, in my opinion.
And
anyways, I'm sorry you wanted to get rid of Parvati. Everyone wanted to get rid of Parvati.
And the other thing is too, I know, we were jokingly saying, or I was jokingly saying that he was canceled, and he was he had tweeted.
Yo, you started a bad trend.
I started the bad trend. I feel like I'm responsible for this, but at the same time, Wendell's not tweeting that at us if we don't have a mutual respect here. Wendell's doing that jokingly, and I'm saying that back to him because he knows how much I love Michele here. So of course that's going to be blown out of proportion, but people got to calm down with it. I mean, I will say the one thing that this whole pandemic has proven is that the internet trolls still aren't going anywhere. The internet trolls, the internet trolls,
because they're staying inside
until the internet goes away. And I think now people have too much time on their hands because they can't go outside, and they start ripping. It's there's a sickness that's killing people, and everybody's still worried about just insulting Wendell.
Nope, Wendell's the problem here
because it's Survivor game. It's so absurd, and anybody who's that, shame on you for sure.
Because he voted out your number one pick in your Survivor fantasy.
Exactly.
Guess what? Everybody wanted to vote her out. So anyways.
But call me next week when he votes out Michele, because he's canceled again, and
he's super canceled.
Then I'll be sending him the hate mail.
Anyways, so Wendell did the correct thing by sticking to his alliance and voting out the most popular player and one of the best players to ever play. But anyways, I think Wendell is in a really good spot, because I think people are going to see, one, the easy option is Michele, and two, people are going to see that Parvati and Sandra just went home, and everyone's going to be staring at Yule. So that alliance is still tight, but if they're going to flip on each other, it's going to be Yule. Wendell, dare I say it, hasn't done anything wrong. If anything, he and Michele were actually kind of playing with the idea of working together. So I think Wendell has a lot of options. I still think Nick is the safest in that group of four, but I think Wendell's fine. I think they needed a bad guy because everyone loves Parvati. He's fine.
I got Wendell much lower than you, Alexa, and my main reasoning.
Well, it's because you hate him.
No, and it is mainly because I hate him. But the second reason is Fishbach brought up a great point this week, and it's something that we talk about a lot. When you're getting no screen time, and also you get an uptick that's completely negative, like Wendell did, doesn't normally bode well for you, because
that's
even
not great. Yeah,
last season with Dean got an uptick, but it wasn't negative. It was kind of dopey, but it wasn't negative, and then it started to become positive, and people started to like Dean. But I think Wendell has gotten such negativity, and him and Michele have been at odds so hard right now, at least that's what they've been playing up, that I think that is going to probably, no spoilers for my own power rankings here, but that's probably going to be how this pre-merge phase of Survivor Winners at War ends. I think with the culmination of the Michele versus Wendell situation, because right now it's too obvious on the other tribes, but there's also no like hate on the other tribes. There's no villain on the other tribes. There's no real heroes on the other tribes. Whereas on this tribe, it feels like we should be rooting for Michele to get out of this against the evil tyrant that is Wendell. Like that's at least how it's being edited. So
you're right. That was like Bradley too. That's a really good point. That's a great point. Yeah.
Well, I'm with Alexa because I have Wendell up next, right behind Ben. That he's not going anywhere. And if I was any of the people that was on Edge of Extinction, they really don't even want to see Wendell because Wendell will become automatically one of the top people that will be a threat to get back into the game. From off of the players that's sitting over there, then you got your top three, and they would be Wendell, Tyson, and Natalie. So they don't want to see Wendell at the edge.
And I wonder how much this comes into play for this vote. Let's say you're Nick, and you know that you're not going home this week. You're Nick, you're not going home, you're in control here. And you can side with Michele and send Wendell or Yul over to Edge and confirm that one of Wendell, Tyson, and Natalie, two of those people can't come back into the game. So you're only going to get one of them. Or you can side with Wendell and Yul and vote out Michele, but now either Tyson or Natalie is most likely coming back into the game. I wonder how much thought goes into this, like where you vote out maybe somebody who's more threatening to ensure that they can't get back in, like that only one of the good challenge threats can get back into the game at this point. And then later on in the game, which everybody will be voted out by then, but this way that person can't, like, you're not going to have to fight against Wendell and Tyson next week when the merge hits. Maybe you're only fighting against Tyson because you voted out Wendell, and then only Wendell, Tyson, or Natalie, only one of those three could possibly be there come merge time.
True.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Well, because I'm a homer, I got Michele at 7, so. So what you guys are saying about Wendell is completely wrong because Michele is all around on everybody. Yeah, that's right, Carl. I heard that laugh.
I have Michele low. I'm like turning off my bias, but I get that. I support.
That just reminds me of last season, man. You're such a homer. With last season, what it was Chelsea.
He's always it's always the cute girl.
God.
Stop putting them on TV.
Stop showing how
Take the attractive women off of TV. I will not stand for this.
Damn.
That's it. I know. Well, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, 5 of my top 7 are all women. I mean, no, I don't have. Yeah, in my bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't have a single woman. So I'm just saying.
Phil's the feminist here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the fan. But no, I actually think getting rid of Michele this week would be stupid for her tribe. Like, I don't care. If you're Yul, Nick, and Wendell, no matter how tight you think you are, what Wendell just said last week is just, I don't think you can trust it. And Michele is not a threat once the merge hits. Like, she's really not.
But like I said, the only way that happens is if Michele gets in Nick's ear.
I think she's going to be whispering.
Ear, then, yeah, I mean, because, I mean, I'm with you on the Wendell pretty much blew up his spot at that tribal. Like, I wouldn't have never said the things that he said, but that's the only way that that's gonna happen is if Michele can get into Nick's ear, because I don't see Yul isn't worried. Like, Yul's playing this game and he doesn't look like he have a worry in the world. Like, he sat at that tribal with his legs crossed, like he had a cup of coffee with him. You know what I mean?
Loving it.
Like, yeah, it was like he's not worried about nothing, you know. So that's a telltale of something. Like, they must really have a bond, man, for him not to be worried, because the average person would have been scratching their heads, and Yul didn't budge on it. Like, he was just like, oh, this is interesting, but that was it, you know.
I have to say this though, Carl. You just said that I'm showing how vulnerable I am and all that, and I keep like, why do I have to put all the young hot girls at the top? But you're then saying all Michele has to do is get into Nick's ear. And we saw Nick the last 2 weeks going goo goo gaga over Parvati. So if like being me and being the fact that I can't put Michele any lower than 7 ever, I feel like I understand Nick's psyche very well here. And I am telling you, Nick is going to be convinced by Michele to not vote Michele off this.
But that's why I keep saying that, because I know Nick. You know what I mean? I know what gets to him. So I know that if she just focuses on him, she'll get him to crack. Like,
and
she'll
I think
get him to crack.
And I think it's going to be at a point where Yule won't have a choice, because I don't think that Nick's going to go after Yule. I think he feels tighter with Yule, and I think that that's what's going to happen. He's going to be like, well, Yule, you can vote against Michele with Wendell, but then it's going to be a tie because I'm not flipping, because I think this is the smart move, and I think Yule will be able to see the numbers, realize he's still got Sophie, he's still got Sarah, he could probably have Tony, he's still got enough allies throughout the game because he positioned himself really well, and say, all right, fine, let's get rid of Wendell. I can do it. It seems like he's ready to backstab me whenever he wants anyway.
Right. We'll see, man. Let's
see another week.
Yeah, I have Kim at number 8.
Okay.
Kim
All right, talk to us.
Yeah, she's not. I mean, what is she in the way of? What is she to be afraid of?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, on that tribe, you're talking about Jeremy, Denise, Kim, and Tony.
And Tony, yeah.
Okay. Well, we know Jeremy and Denise are Pat, obviously, just from what we've seen. I mean, she wouldn't have played an idol for him if she wasn't cool with him. Okay, so you take Tony and Kim. Like we discussed it earlier. Do you really think that Kim wants to play more with Tony, or would better her chances playing with Tony, or versus playing with Jeremy and Denise?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like again, Tony blew up his spot. He totally blew up his spot, in my opinion. So I would see that Kim would slide over with Denise and Jeremy instead of trying to battle and hang in there with Tony. I just don't, because I don't see Jeremy and Denise flipping to go with a Tony for certain. For certain, not if Jeremy did it, it's only because Tony would be a shield towards him.
Yep.
Or for him. You know what I mean? That would be the only reason. But it's getting so deep in the game. I don't see that he would even need that, because merge is coming. It's coming. And there's several other shields that Jeremy can use, with the exception of getting rid of Tony at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree.
So I don't see Kim being in no worries.
Yeah, I
from that
completely
aspect of it. Yeah.
Yep. Alexa, who's your 7?
I'll do my 7 and 8. My 7 is Ben. We already talked about him a decent amount. I think Ben is, I mean, he's in my lower half because he's in the minority, but I do think he'll be okay. I know we were shown that he's really tight with Sophie and Sarah, so I don't really see why they would turn on him at this point. But my 8 is Denise, and I know this is the highest Denise is because no one's mentioned her yet. She made we have been looking for entertainment, and we got it. She crushed it last week, but her ally turned on her, so she does still have an upward battle because she doesn't have protection anymore. She doesn't have an idol. She does have 3 fire, 2 fire, 1 fire token. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's back to 1.
2? Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, I think she had 2, and then she had to give 1 to Sandra. So she has 1.
Yeah.
So that completely.
Yeah, she gave 1 to Sandra. You're right.
Okay, then never mind. I have literally no argument with fire token. But I think there's probably an idol on that beach because no one found that one yet. So she can look around for that. I think she'll win back Jeremy a little bit. But I honestly think people are not going to be intimidated by her still, which is what's so amazing.
I actually don't think she lost Jeremy. I think Jeremy just made the move that was right for his game, which is vote with the majority, knowing that there's no way you can switch that. It's going to be those 4 no matter what. There's nothing you can do about it. And now, because Denise played an idol for him, showing how loyal she will be to him the entire game. I mean, David Wright said it best. That is the best way to prove loyalty to somebody. It says, I'm willing to give you an idol that would have been good for myself to keep you in the game. I think that because Denise did that, Jeremy's now going to say, no Kim, no Tony. You guys are either voting with us or like, that's it. Like, that's your only choice. And I think Kim will definitely go for it, because why would Kim want to keep Tony around? So yeah, I really think that tribe, if they go to tribal, I think that's an easy boot. I think it's got to be Tony. And none of us have said Tony yet, so I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my number 8 is Ben. We already talked a lot about Ben, but I I like Ben's game right now. I just have him a little bit low just because those girls aren't going to break up, and somehow Adam pulls a rabbit out of the hat. Ben goes home. So I just have him at 8, but I think he's pretty safe.
Yeah. Yeah, my bottom 4 are the 4 who I think actually could go home.
We have a very similar bottom 4, except you don't have Wendell. You have somebody else. You have Michele.
Else. I do.
I have
I'm
Wendell.
so sorry.
Oh, Carl's got it too. I don't know what show you guys been watching.
Yeah. I guess I'll go first. My number 9.
I have her in my bottom 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not my.
I didn't say she was at the very bottom, but she's in the bottom 4.
I have respect. I would never put her at number 12.
Right.
Yeah.
I have some self-respect here.
Who's number 9, Alexa?
My number 9 is Yule. So I go
mine as well.
Yule 9 and Michele is 10. Kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, Yule is the oldest school person left in the game. The next is, I think, Sophie. So,
Sophie, yeah.
And Sophie is would you consider Sophie old school? No. Mm-hmm. So I think that is that's going to hang over him for a while now, and there's nothing he can really do about that. The good thing is he does have a loyal alliance, but with a tribe this small, and it's all with very, very new winners, and that they play a bouncy game, and Yule did not play that game. Yule played the most loyal game out there. So I think for him, it might just be it makes so much sense for us all to stay together, but Nick and Wendell may not see that. So that makes me a little nervous for him.
Yeah, I have Yule at 9 as well. I'm a little worried about Yule. I'm not that worried about Yule, but I could see Nick, Wendell, and Michele saying, hey, we're all recent winners. Let's get rid of the guy who we don't know that well. I mean, Yule had never met Parvati, or Parvati had never met Yule's wife. And they played together in season 13. And Parvati was a very big part of the Survivor community, obviously, for the next 7 seasons. Yule won his season. And yet it seems like Yule has really taken a back seat to Survivor, whereas Wendell and Nick, they're at everything they can go to. Anything they're allowed to go to, they go to. We know Michele and Wendell kicked it. So because of that,
is Michele going to put her feelings aside?
That's what I mean. But Michele might not have a choice. It might either be Michele goes home or she decides that she has to work with Wendell. It might be she might not have a choice. So I just think Yule could be in trouble this week. I don't think he is, but he could go if the newer winners decide, let's just get rid of him here.
I don't know. The Kicked It tribe is kind of up in the air.
They're kicking
That's
it.
the best. I hope they go to tribal because it's the best.
It's so good.
I'll be sweating and crying because Michelle's over there, but it'll be the best one.
I got Denise at 9 and Michele at 10.
Okay. So you both save face here, only put Michele at 10. I don't have to say Godfather. This is the last time you're allowed on it.
I would never put her at 12.
It's no way. It's 2 guys that are at the bottom. And for me, it's like a coin flip on which one of them goes home. It really depends on who's ever loses the reward. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because both of these guys, in my opinion, are at the very bottom.
Yeah.
Very.
And I agree. And you guys have the same bottom 2. I have them both in my bottom 3. Yeah. It's going to depend which tribe loses. And I went and I said, which tribe has the best chance to lose? And that's why I did this and did it differently than both of you. But I have Tony at 10. I don't think Tony's tribe is going to lose. I think they're too strong. I think Denise is full of crap that she's not good at challenges. We know Kim's good at challenges. We know Jeremy's good at challenges. We know Tony's good at challenges. They're going to at least finish second place this week. They're not going to finish last.
You got Tony at number 10?
Yeah, I have him at 10 because I don't think that tribe loses this week. Carl's scratching his head.
Not to prove that. Phil, you just got kicked off your own podcast.
I did. Well, I am in the bottom middle here, so I don't even know if it's my podcast at this point. He's still staring at me. So, Carl, for all of our audio listeners, what's going on in your head right now?
I'm just wondering why at 10. I don't know. Again, those challenges, man, anybody can win. You know what I mean? And it's like if they lose, Tony's going home because Tony again he has blew up his spot, and I don't see the team to me that has the best chance to win it would be Nick, Wendell, and Yule and Michele. That's to me they have the best chance to win. And then out of the other two, I mean, they're kind of sort of. I would have to go with the tribe of Sarah, Sophie, Adam, and Ben that has the second best chance because Sophie shows to be great at the puzzles. Michele is like, I mean, Sarah is like one of the dudes in a sense. I mean, like she carries her own weight. You know, Adam's a smart guy. We very well know. So you take the tribe with Tony, Jeremy, Kim, and Denise. Kim, I mean, Kim don't look like she can hold much weight. You know, Denise has a little age on her, so it's like, how long will she hold up? You know what I mean? So then you just got Jeremy and Tony as far as any of the physicalness, and then if you switch to that side, who's their puzzle master on that side?
I mean, Nick is supposed to be.
No, I'm talking about on the tribe with Tony, Jeremy, Denise, and Kim. Who's their puzzle master?
I don't know, because Kim's they always put Kim in the physical position.
Right. So who's their puzzle master at this point?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know.
And they have Denise, who loses pretty much every tribal immunity anyway. So that's
her luck alone,
is terrible. So I mean, hey, that could be a good point. I have it the reverse order though. I actually
with that being said, that's why I got Tony as the bottom. He's the very bottom because I can see that tribe losing, and if they lose, he's going home.
Yeah, see, we're just in different.
I got Adam at 11. That's why I say it's basically just a coin flip because Tony and Adam, to me, are at the very bottom.
You have convinced me. I will put Adam at 11 and Tony at 12. I originally had them.
Well, it's funny because Carl came on here last time, and he kicked our asses, Alexa. He said Chelsea's going to go home with an idol in her pocket. He said Karishma's okay. She's going to be doing good. Carl kicked our asses. And you know what, Carl? I learned nothing. I got Adam at 11. I got Wendell at 12. So there you go.
I'll tell you why you learn nothing. Here's my opinion on why you learn nothing. Because you read too much. And I've been telling you this since the very beginning of me meeting you. You read too much into the edits. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't read into the edits at all. I watch the show and pay attention to the people. I don't care about nobody being purpled. No, none of that, because that means nothing. Trust me when I say CBS and SEG knows that people watch the edits and try to figure out what's going to take place just from the edits. And they've tried to stir that up as much as possible. So I never pay attention to who's getting the most talk time, who has the most confessionals. I never pay attention to any of that. I just watch how they're playing.
I hear you. I just think Wendell's line last week is if they lose, he goes home. I think it's a red flag with a merge on the horizon. And him saying, I thought we wanted to be real, and I thought people would respect the realness. And yeah, they might, but also I'm terrified if that's supposed to be one of my top allies, and he's saying I'm ready to stab you in the front. I mean, that's not even trying to blindside me. Now you're just like, what are you going to Boston Rob it as soon as we get to the merge and just say, sorry, there's nothing I can do. You're going to have to go home. So that's why I think Wendell's in trouble. And I just think that tribe right now, I mean, I just think they're going to be the one who loses. I think that the Sarah, Sophie, Adam, Ben tribe, despite the fact that they don't look great on paper, I think that the four of them get along very, very well. And I think that they all have different strengths that they bring. So even though Adam would probably be the easy boot there, I think that tribe is fine. And I think the Tony, Jeremy, Kim, and Denise tribe, even though they might not have a great puzzle person, I just think that tribe, they're just too strong and too good of a group. I don't know. We're in disagreement.
Yeah, but
Carl.
we seen a couple of episodes ago when what was it Nick's tribe? They had like a freaking 30-minute lead.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because the strength carried them all the way to the puzzle. They just like took off. But then when it came to the puzzle, they lost. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing with the Jeremy tribe. They can have the lead off of the strength aspect of it. They can get up there on the board. But then if you don't have nobody that's good at the puzzle, then what good is the lead?
Yeah, you're right.
It does nothing. It does nothing.
I mean,
I like what Gamer Girl said though. Don't forget that
I can't get the chat.
Don't forget that I picked that Evans was going home when I said he was going home.
It's true.
Yeah. Carl,
Yeah.
you're 2 for 2.
Well, Carl, it's crazy that you would come on here and put your title on the line like this. If I was you, I would have just been like, guys, don't ask me to podcast anymore. I said that this is what was going to happen, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I have to look.
That's the fun of it. I mean,
Alexa,
you
can
know,
you pull up what he had when he came on and did his Nick retrospective in May before the players even were starting the game? Can you pull that up?
God.
Let's see how good Carl's doing on that. Because Carl, I actually think your predictions were good on that one too.
I'm quite sure they was.
I know we have a very good. I have to move this WAW hub.
Oh, you want me to just pull that up?
Yeah. So here we go, Carl.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you had Nick Wilson will get at least final 6.
Yeah.
And your winner pick is Jeremy Collins. How you still feeling about that? You still feeling good about Jeremy?
I still feel good about Jeremy, but again, if you look at my picks today, I moved. I have Sophie just right above Jeremy, so I'm still riding with Jeremy, but I'm leaning more towards Sophie now at this point, just from watching her play. Like I said, she's not in the way of anything. She has no targets on her, none of that. So I'm going with Sophie, with Jeremy pulling up at number 2. You know what I mean? And possibly still winning, but I'm going with
and how are you
Sophie.
feeling about your Nick prediction of at least final 6? Where are you seeing him fall now?
I still see Nick making it to final 6.
I think that's
I
super
still
fair,
see
yeah.
Nick making it to final 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he's in a great spot. And Carl, you made these predictions. I think it was like May 17th of last year when they had left like 2 days before. So I mean, if you might just become like the Survivor, like Nostradamus here, where it's just like I'm going to predict every single thing that ever happens. I love it.
Is that why y'all didn't invite me yet again to the fantasy team thing?
Well, we invited. Can we tell you why we didn't invite you? We had Robert. And are you ready for Robert's team right now, Carl? Are you ready to hear
He's been sucking. I've been paying attention to it.
That's why we couldn't ask you, though. You would deed us. We bring Robert, and Robert spends all his money on Amber, Natalie, Ethan, and Tyson.
He's been sucking. I hope he saves some money for the damn beer he owes me if he's in here. But yeah, he's totally sucked. Like, yeah, like no.
Well, I'll tell you what, Carl. After all this craziness with the virus ends, I think I might have to fly to Houston and hand you your beer because I still owe you the beer, but I can't really send it to you now because I don't think anybody's allowed to. Like, I don't think you want anybody handing it to you at this point.
Man,
you have to throw it 6 feet to him.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping, man, like what's going to take place, man. I already booked my flight for LA, man. Yeah. I had a flight booked for Atlanta. I'm sure y'all probably heard what was taking place in Atlanta, but that's been canceled. Like I
feel like the live finale can't.
That's what I'm saying. I have my flight booked for LA already, but
I'm not even there right now, Carl. I've been there for a week, and I don't see myself going back.
You don't even have a place to sleep, Carl.
I know, Carl. They shut down everything till April 19th.
That's what. Is that why you left?
Yeah, they shut down everything.
Now you say you're in Arizona.
Yeah.
What are you doing out? You got family out there?
Yeah, it's my girlfriend's family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I get to. I'm here hanging out while LA is on total lockdown. So I was able to get out. Yeah, man. My couch is still open for
everything down yet. But
honestly, right now, Carl, if you want to go to LA, my entire apartment's open to you. So if you want it, go ahead.
Nah, I'll pass, man. I mean, I'm hoping, like I say, man. Hopefully they making the right calls by shutting shit down, so they can kind of get some kind of containment on this, man. Because this is sucking, man. Like, who would have ever thought, man? Season 40, and we might not even get to have a finale. Like,
I'm never gonna meet. This is because I want to meet Michele, man. That's what
you're never gonna meet. Michele was supposed to have a watch party in New York City and got canceled. Oh, it was so bad. Yeah. But right move. She did the right thing.
Well,
her and Nick did one with Fair Play.
And I didn't fly out.
It's in New Jersey.
Should have just flown out.
Yeah.
Now let me hear it, Carl. Who's your Eliminator pick? So we know you know how the Eliminator works. You've done it a bunch of times. You can't pick Nick, Kim, Sophie, Yul, or Michele.
I can't pick Nick.
Kim.
Let's see. Nick, Kim,
Sophie,
Yul, Sophie, or Michele.
Michele.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so who do I think is going home? Or
no, who do you think is safe?
Who's
who
safe?
Do I think is safe? Oh, okay. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Jeremy's safe, of course, obviously. Yeah.
There you go.
Jeremy.
That's an easy one. And Alexa, I see yours written. You always type it in before I can even say it, and we always have similar thinking. So
I know.
I'm gonna start like deleting it now.
Yeah, I always pick who is like my number 11. I am gonna pick Adam, which is bold.
And I'm
You
gonna
said-
pick Yule.
You saying Adam is safe?
Yeah, I don't think he is, but I don't think he'll be around much longer. So I want to get him in while I
So
can.
that's why. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which
And that's why I'm
could backfire.
going with Yule here because I think Yule's in a good spot for this week. I think Yule's in a great. I think he set himself up fantastically. I just worry once a merge hits with so many old schoolers being gone, Yule might just be a wild card for some people, which could work really well, and it could lead him further, or it could be something where they can all just kind of circle around and say, "Hey, we don't really know Yule. Why don't we just get rid of him?" So I could see
Yeah.
it going either way. So I'll take him this week, and that's really it, right? I mean, do we have anything else?
Yeah.
Carl, you got anything else you got to say about this season?
Well, I think I was a little bit upset to see the nullifier come in the game and leave right back out.
Yeah, that was in and out.
I wanted to see if it was going to be played, and you know what I mean. But
I'll tell you what, though,
that
Carl,
kind of suck.
it's giving you some more street cred because it's showing how hard it is to play that thing right. Because
Well, but you didn't even have the time, though. You know what I
I'm
mean?
just saying though, and I think that's why, like, when it happened in Dave vs. Goliath, people were saying, "Oh, is this going to be too easy? Is it going to be too easy?" It's something you have to play perfectly and have to have positioned yourself well, and like you have to. There has to be so many things that go right for you in that positioning. Yeah, like Parvati said, I can't use the idle nullifier. I need numbers. So, yeah. It's fun.
I mean, it would. Well, let's see. No, it wouldn't have helped Parv anyways because
No.
nobody even played.
Nobody needed an idol. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was the target, and nobody needed it. Yeah, so. Yeah, no, I'm just puzzled about it, man. I just, it sucks seeing it come in and then leave right back out.
It's like
because
your
I still
child,
don't. I don't. I mean, I don't.
Hey, it had a big impact last season.
Well, no, no hard feelings towards Dean, but no, that was not a nullifier play. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was basically Jeff giving him the thing and telling him exactly when to play it, who to play it
Hey, you
on.
should do this right now.
Yeah, I mean, so no, that wasn't a nullifier play.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it come back in later on in the season, since it literally did have no impact. It could still have some sort of
it'll come
play
back,
later.
especially because a lot of people are gonna have idols.
It has to, man. It sucks though, man, because like, what do you think about them postponing 41 and 42?
Gotta do it.
I mean, Fiji just canceled all international flights till May 31st. So I mean, hey, hopefully people just do what we need to do. I mean, I was on the train of like, how bad is it really going to be? And now I'm on the train of like, just stay inside so this can end and we can have some sort of summer or something. Like, who knows how long it's going to take? But I think maybe as long as they can film it by end of July, beginning of August, they can still get it out by beginning of October, which really isn't that much later than normal. So, shortened seasons are a thing that happen. It's a thing that happens on TV.
Yeah, it sucks though, but it gives those whoever's going to be on it more time to prepare. Like,
that's what I was thinking.
Prepare
like,
wisely.
someone didn't make enough fires. Like, time
I'm telling you,
out and do it.
Prepare.
I can't wait till they casted a guy to be like the next Rick Devens, the kind of like overweight, fun personality, and then all of a sudden, because he's got this extra like 3 months, however long it's going to be, he comes out there and he's looking like Cole Metters, just running around with like his. It's like, wait, we didn't cast you for this. I mean, now who knows, man? I mean, this is a crazy time. I mean, there's nothing. All we can do is do what we're being told and hope that we're being told the right things and just do it. There's nothing that we can really do. So hopefully it's the right move. And I know the people. I have friends who they flew out there and they flew back. Like if they were on Dream Team or whatever they were on, like they're all back in the States now. So it ain't happening for a while.
No, it ain't. Gabby was going for vacation in April, and I'm sure she probably won't be able to.
It's not happening.
No, it's already been canceled probably.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see one of you guys on there, man. Like one of y'all got to be on Survivor.
We're working on it. We're seeing what we can do.
Yeah.
So therefore, whoever goes out of y'all, then I'll just step in y'all's spot. I'll be the
exactly.
Robert he's proven that he can't even pick up
He sucks.
Team. Yeah. So
yeah. Just make sure, Carl, that if you do have to step in and I'm the one who's out there, you just say that I'm going to win because everything you say comes true. So just say I'm going to win and then I'll win. And then I won't even need to play Survivor. I'll just go stand out there and everybody will be like, well, we can't vote him off. The Godfather said he's going to win. So
I got you. Alexa's
makes
going to
sense.
make the final 6.
There you
Phil,
go.
I'm not going to win. I'm going to make the final 6. I'll make
Well, you got to get the final 6 first.
Yeah.
All right,
sure.
I can work with final 6.
You know what I mean? You're gonna make final 6. I'm not sure. Phil might not even make it to the merge. I don't
Probably
know because he's gonna be out there too busy trying to get his commentary right for his edit. That's what all he's gonna be worried
All
about.
about the edit.
And I mean, you put one attractive like 25 to 35-year-old woman out there, and I'm just done, Carl. I mean, it's just over. So he's just shaking his head.
That means when Alexa's on,
so
she's gonna
true.
be your favorite then, right? Since you
Yeah,
like the young,
Phil's going to vote
attractive
me
women.
out.
That's it. But I could see that's what I want everybody to think, because I want everybody to think like, wow, Phil's going to go out there and he's just going to side with the Lauren O'Connells and Michelle Fitzgeralds and Gabby.
The Victorias.
The Victorias. And then I'm going to get out there and I'm just going to vote them all off one by one.
Right,
So be like,
right.
wow.
Get rid of this temptation.
He's been doing this for 5 years. He's been playing the game, you know?
I hear Gina just walked in.
There you go.
Gina,
they calling you.
Alexa,
they calling you.
All right. So I'll wrap it up. We'll talk to Gina offline. So for those of you who have been sitting on Twitter, which I know is myself and everybody, if you want some good news on Twitter, you would have seen that this Tuesday night, Phil and I are replacing March Madness basketball brackets with a Survivor Alliance bracket. So for our $10 and $20 patrons, we are going to do a 32-team 4-region Survivor Alliance bracket. We are super excited for it. We broke it out into duos, trios, quads, and then alliances of 5 or more members. So become a $10 or $20 patron and give it a listen. We're super excited to do it. Hopefully this will distract you guys from all the crap that's going on. In the meantime, we also have patron tiers for $1 and $5 if you don't want to pay that much. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back this Wednesday at, I guess neither of us have a ton going on.
no, I'll be back at 6:01.
6:01, yeah, like directly after the episode East Coast time with our recap. And Carl, as always, we love having you on, and we'll talk to you next time.
As always, I appreciate it. Y'all stay safe out there.
Stay safe. Wash